pigs are the only animal we can take implants from. You can get a pig organ put into your body. I don't understand that. Why is it if you take a pig off the farm, put it out in the wilderness, in 3 months it turns to a wild boar? Snout gets longer, it goes from pink to black to brown, tusks grow, it becomes a whole different creature. So that right there shows me that evolution don't really take a million years. So if we came from monkeys, why are there still monkeys here? If you look and see, monkeys are going into the Stone Age now. They're using technology, they're fishing, they're using tools.
Yes.
So when you see stuff like this, it's like, okay, that's why I say question everything. Because I firmly believe that up until 16, 17, 15 to 1700, somewhere in there, they faked everything.
Okay, so I don't know what type of sick-ass operation they're running at Pawleys Island Community Church located in Georgetown County, South Carolina, but God is not pleased. I don't know if you guys heard the news yet, but they just arrested 4 members from this church. The pastor, Mr. Don Williams, his wife, Jenny Williams, she's a guest services director. They arrested the director of the Christian Academy, Miss Jennifer Nikki Howard, and they arrested the sick-ass sex offender that they had employed at the Pawleys Island Christian Academy, Mr. Warren Perry. They lied. I'm sorry. The pastor lied and said that this man was not around any children. They have video evidence of this man being in close proximity to children. To make matters even worse, this man pled guilty in 2023 to sexual exploitation of a minor, and he has been with this church since 2020. Make that make sense to me. Lock everybody up. They're all facing charges, but their charges are not severe enough for me. They put a lot of children in danger. This is complete negligence, and they all should be held accountable to the fullest extent. Let me know if you guys heard about this. Do not forget to like, follow, and share for more, and thank you.
Okay, this video is going viral right now, which was filmed in the year 2000 in New York City. Now, take a look and see if you notice something significantly different about the setting then versus now. And it's kind of like this. You know how we lived through the 90s? Many of you, some of you are listening and you didn't live through the 90s or the early 2000s. But you don't really know you went through an era until the era is gone. So in the year 2000, we went from, and this is part of what you'll witness and you'll notice in this in these clips here, is that we went from zero technology, bicycling until the streetlights come on, to now iPads strapped to your forehead in order to eat at a restaurant so you don't bug your parents. I mean, this is what people are doing. So you notice no one's on their cell phone, dude. I don't even know how many people had cell phones back then, like 20. No pagers, no GPS action, no screens in their cars. And all the old cars, there's Times Square for you, which was this before cash for clunkers when they got everyone to give their perfectly good vehicle up for a few grand and then boom, bang, bang, a million cars that you could fix in your driveway today if you still had, you no longer have? I don't know, man. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Who would like to communicate with us? Who would like to communicate with us?
He decides to run a spirit box session asking if anything's in the house with him. Then, while he's focused on the box, his camera catches something behind him.
If there is anyone here who would like to communicate.
There is no God. You were all created by aliens and you were told a bunch of lies about it. Good luck. Keep going to work. Mark itself.
What if your past life hasn't happened yet? Nobody has ever said that reincarnation has to move forward through time. And this post on X has been getting a lot of people questioning the way we think reincarnation works. The basic idea is that when you die, your soul or consciousness is reborn into a new body sometime in the future. One life ends, another begins, and everything moves forward in a straight line. But what if consciousness doesn't experience time that way? What if your next life, instead of happening a few years after your death, takes place in the past? You could die today and wake up in ancient Egypt or medieval Europe or even in the Ice Age. Or you could still be born in the future, maybe in the far future on another planet somewhere where humanity barely remembers Earth. And there are people who claim to have experienced something like this. Some regression practitioners say that people under hypnosis have described past lives involving things like plagues, wars, ancient civilizations, you're an ancient Egyptian priestess, and then during the same session suddenly describing lives that haven't happened yet. Describing places and cities and societies that don't exist yet with strange technology they can see but they can't name or explain it. But how could that be possible? Well, some researchers, philosophers, and spiritual traditions suggest that while our bodies experience time as a straight line, our consciousness might not. The past, present, and future could all exist simultaneously, even every possible life incarnation stacked together. And whenever we die, maybe we don't move forward, we just shift sideways into another life happening somewhere else. And another trippy thought with this all is that you might not even return as a human. Maybe I need to talk about the egg theory next. But what do you think? And what time period are you spawning back in next?
Warning, a smiling cartoon bunny is being skinned and gutted, its insides pulled out one piece at a time on the same app your kid watches cartoons on, and they're not stopping. Parents were terrified after their toddlers ran over giggling at a cartoon they found, and thousands are now flooding the app with warnings, filming their 5-year-olds going from laughing to shaking, screaming, as many are convinced it's being slipped onto kids' accounts as young as 4 on purpose. Haunting reports show this was never a kid's show. It was only made to look like one, wrapped in candy colors and a sing-song theme so that a child cannot look away before the animal gets split open and their eyes end up like squeezed fruit made only for adults. But it gets much worse because parents swear the more they report it, the more the platforms push it. And a cartoon pulling in millions of views every single month is being repackaged as cute little friends and dropped beside real cartoons. One even crossed over with a series made to teach kids how to stay safe. It is called Happy Tree Friends, and no matter how many parents warn each other tonight, nothing is stopping it from showing up on your kids' screens in the very next scroll.
Do you think that there are agencies actively altering history? 28-year librarian and civil rights activist Marion Stokes believed that she taped everything on television for 30 years. You think we're gonna find Shazam? This is called the Marion Stokes Project. Marion Stokes was a civil rights activist, a librarian for 20 years, and also a television show producer. All of her career experience and activism, she believed one thing: agencies were actively rewriting history to change the population's perception in the future. So with all of her knowledge, she did one thing. She taped everything on television for 30 years. Television, news, commercial, movies, trailers, she taped it. Do you think we're gonna find Fruit of the Loom commercials with the cornucopia in it? It's called the Marion Stokes Project, and there's a documentary out on it called Recorder that came out in 2019. Marion Stokes was so dedicated to this one idea that she recorded over 70,000 VHS. Yes, she did not believe in digital. She hard copied everything. She also simultaneously rented 9 apartments in Philadelphia just for storage. We're gonna find ads with the Monopoly man with the monocle. It was extreme brilliance and dedication on one idea: to protect history. How many Mandela effects are in this archive? All 70,000 of her VHS were dedicated to the Internet Archive charity system. They are actively going through all 70,000 VHS, digitizing them and putting them in an archive so we can all log in and have access to them. Marilyn Stokes, we salute you. I don't know how many Mandela effects will be uncovered when they finally digitize all 70,000 VHS, but I'm here for it. What do you think? Are we going to find a commercial for Stouffer's Stovetop Stuffing? I don't know, but I'm here for it. Let me know if you ever heard about this.
Because once you understand how search works, you begin to realize just how extraordinary his disappearance really was. It's easy to forget that before Dennis Martin became one of America's most famous missing children, he was simply a little boy on vacation, 6 years old, full of energy, curious about everything. According to those who knew him, Dennis loved the outdoors. He wasn't afraid of the woods. To him, the mountains weren't dangerous. They were a playground. His family had driven from Tennessee to spend Father's Day weekend camping at Spence Field, a remote but popular backcountry area near the Tennessee-North Carolina border. The trip was supposed to create memories. Instead, it became one of the greatest mysteries in National Park.
Yep, if you see a video of a girl eating watermelon, don't let it play any longer, as people are having their lives attacked and destroyed after, and this is your last warning. People were terrified after a video of a woman trying to imitate the baby from Ice Age while eating a watermelon went viral, with her comments flooding with people demanding answers, many swearing something about it feels deeply wrong, and the most liked comment on her entire page now has just 3 words: our little racist. Haunting reports show why nobody believes this was an accident, as this is the same woman who allegedly painted her face fully black with bright red lips last Halloween and allegedly quietly deleted it. And with the watermelon being one of the oldest insults thrown at Black Americans, many are now convinced she is not making a joke but sending a message, with these videos disguised as jokes now spreading rapidly online. But it gets much darker, as she was allegedly caught agreeing that one race will always be better looking, liking posts pushing white nationalism and privately calling immigrants an invasion of European countries. However, none of this has been proven, the screenshots have never been verified, and she has denied every single accusation. But if people are right about this video, then millions are unknowingly spreading her message every single time they hit share. But what do you think?
Listen up. Let's talk about the World Cup. So this year, 48 teams participated in the World Cup, and there's usually only 32. Now, with everything going on in the Middle East, it's kind of crazy that they had 48, and we know that Israel was created in 1948. Stick with me because it gets interesting. Now, the World Cup Championship was held July the 19th, and Israel's 80th anniversary is May 14th, 2028. And in between those two dates are 666 days. Crazy, right? Now let's talk about the curse of the 8th decade. It's a concept suggesting that sovereign Jewish states historically failed to survive past 80 years due to internal division. This speaks directly to Tish B'Av, which was when the first and second temple were destroyed. And Tisha B'Av is 9/11. Tisha translates to 9, and Av is the 11th month of the Jewish year. And Lindsey Graham just passed away, and he was born on the 9th of July and died on the 11th of July. He also died 11 days before Tisha B'Av. This year, Tisha B'Av falls on July the 22nd and the 23rd. Speaking of 9/11, I want to add this. China just had 2 twin typhoons, Venezuela just had twin earthquakes, and Illinois just had twin tornadoes. Now, Madonna and Shakira headlined the halftime show for the World Cup. And Madonna is the perfect symbol for Crawley's Whore of Babylon. Let's just say that. I mean, that's obvious. Madonna's Madam X tour was on September the 17th, 2019, which was 1,666 days until April the 8th, 2024. Why is that important? Because April the 8th of 2024 was the historic day of the total solar eclipse over America. And the dates between these two historic solar eclipses was 6 years, 6 months, and 6 days. And the first jab was given exactly at the halfway mark of these two eclipses. And if you don't know, a corona is formed during a total solar eclipse. Madonna's Eurovision performance was very apocalyptic, and it showed America falling. It had gas masks, the Masonic pillars. Let's not forget the satanic robed performers. And at the end, the dancers climb up the staircase and fall into like the abyss. And we all know that they had Israel and Palestine flags represented in the performance. And then at the end it said, "Wake up." So let's talk about how weird the World Cup looks. It looks eerily similar to Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. Do y'all remember that Trump had the trophy in the Oval Office for a while? Why was that? Was it because he knows it represents Saturn and the incoming beast system? And do y'all remember the Economist cover? Now we know that Aleister Crowley was obsessed with ushering in the Aeon of Horus. And most of y'all know about Isis and Osiris, and why all of these obelisks are everywhere in the world. Like where the reflecting pool is, the Washington Monument is 6,666 feet tall. There's a reason why the reflecting pool is in the news so much. They're bringing about the birth of Horus. And Horus represents the Antichrist beast system. Hence to why there are arms in handcuffs at the top. They literally put symbolism in everything. That is why it's so important to have some kind of understanding. Everything they do is intentional.
I met so many demons, bro. I met Anubis. He was a pretty funny one, actually. Demons are wild, and they know who I am. They know my name now. It's pretty funny.
When you say you met a demon, are you talking about the physical form or the spiritual form?
I'm talking, I have spoken to people, and the demon comes through and speaks through the person's mouth. And they say, I'm Anubis.
Like clear as that.
Yeah, straight up. And multiple people that I've dealt with, random people. This is the funniest story I'll share. I prayed and casted out the spirit of Anubis out of someone in England. Later that week, a homeless person came to my place and took a dump and smeared poop on my car and then left a statue of Anubis at my front door. That was somebody in England that I prayed. So they can possess. They're like a hive, so they have a connection to other things.
The information.
Yeah, they don't matter. So like they was trying to threaten me and scare me. Demons are funny. I think they're hilarious now. They're just stupid. Demons have a little bit of authority, a little bit of control. They can do some minor things, but they have to do it through us. They do it through people. So I had to possess this homeless guy to do this thing, which is like kind of funny. It was like, oh, scary demon. Like,
if the one thing that you're concerned about with AI is the fact that it's taking away jobs, you are in for a big surprise after this. And why do I say that? Because OpenAI just openly admitted that one of their AI hacking agents has escaped. Somehow found a way to get internet access, and then it ended up hacking another company's AI software. And it's all right here for your reading pleasure. An OpenAI test model escaped and broke into a real company's servers. So the next question is, how and why did this happen? And the one thing that has been confirmed is the fact that no one forced this AI to do what it did. It figured out how to do it all on its own, leaving a much bigger question on the table. Did AI just go rogue? And they're claiming once again that this AI was being tested in a secured area. And instead of staying there, it ended up breaking itself out and launching multiple cyber attacks and putting them all together until it found its way into another company's server. And why is this both troubling and scary at the same time? Read that for yourself. OpenAI says its AI models acted alone in an unprecedented hack of another company. Now imagine if this decides to go rogue on bank accounts. Put that into perspective. Your information, your banking information, your personal information getting leaked. If this thing was able to do what it did to another company, how hard is it going to be for it to do it to you? So especially after seeing something like this, I think the trust for OpenAI is going to be at a very, very low level until they can figure out a way to keep this thing contained. And once again, this is happening now. Where will this be down the road in the future? So definitely something to keep an eye on, and we all should be concerned about. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear.
A 3-year-old kid, they gave me a doll to talk to for rehearsal. A rubber doll, not even plastic. Like a test dummy, it looked like a doll. It was just missing the stuff.
Sure.
You know, all those things. You ever done that? You ever been with one of those things?
Well, not one that I would hold it would mimic a 4-year-old, but yeah.
And then I just grabbed it, you know, and I just threw it on the bed, and I just started pretending, you know, that I was...
Sometimes these things are actually hard to listen to, such vulgar language. I don't know if any of you guys work in the corporate world. Now, if you were to make jokes about a female colleague like this, you would be fired. Your career would be over. So how is it okay for these people to make jokes about children like this? How have they still got pedestals and platforms that they're put on? People just say it's and people say it's entertainment and comedy. Well, it's not funny, it's evil. These people are allowed to navigate through these places, doing as they please, saying what they want, putting in your face, and guess what? Nothing ever.
Have you noticed something weird with our skies lately? Well, take a look at this video captured by a woman named Jazarine out of Santa Cruz, California. She captured this on July 22nd of 2026. The sky looks absolutely weird. It doesn't look real. Take a look at this video. And just to clarify, this is not an AI video. This was the real skies over Santa Cruz Beach. Now, scientifically, these clouds are called cirrostratus clouds. But again, this is so weird. Imagine seeing this in real life. And then the sun? Like, should we be questioning this? Or is it just a natural phenomenon? Take a look at the video again, comment below, let us know what you think.
Okay, you guys aren't going to believe this. A man was revving his motorcycle in his driveway somewhere in, I think, North Carolina was the comments. And it backfired, which sounds like a loud popping sound. Almost could sound like a shot being fired kind of sound. And 1 minute and 37 seconds later, a police officer showed up to tell him, we got a hit. We thought there was submachine action activity going on. And so they alerted the whole police force because they thought something was going down. Well, it turns out this is called spot shotter technology. And when I was in Florida, I'd heard the same thing. They have all these towers and sensors all over the place. So when they hear shots, they're immediately dispatched. But sometimes you hear a car backfiring and it dispatched. Now, some people were saying that the flock technology, because we're sheep, so we got to be herded like a flock of sheep, has this technology built into it also. The question is, though, at what point is there going to be enough surveillance cameras, audio receptors, facial recognition action, sensors, and devices and technology until we've reached the Rubicon here? Let me know if you think all this tech is great or if something else might be going on here to make a digital control.
A chef claims that he heard a little girl while he was cooking.
You trust your chef?
He cooks in like their kitchen, like the hotel's.
Why would Lil Wayne say that? I know that you all heard that for yourselves. Why would he mention something like that when he's talking about his chef cooking for him inside of a hotel? Why would he specifically mention something like that? And why did the people interviewing him, why did they gloss over that? What is really going on here, you all? Because you have to admit that is a very bizarre thing to say. Again, I don't know why he would mention something like that. And again, I know I can't be the only one out there to find that very bizarre. But again, you have to admit that he is looking very different these days too. One has to wonder if this is even the same person at all. I don't know what is going on anymore. I really don't. I don't know what he meant by that when he mentioned that during this interview. And again, I don't know why the people interviewing him pretty much glossed over that. What do you all think about this? Comment down below and you let me know.
Residents of Sedona, Arizona reported hearing a loud bang. When they went outside, they observed this light formation rapidly morphing in the sky. While some witnesses claimed the anomaly appeared immediately following a UAP sighting, those reports remain unverified. The current expert consensus is that the formation is of alien origin.
That try to run around in their head. But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell everybody in the world this because people don't know this. Your brain, it got a natural defect, right? Let me tell you what I mean, right? So your brain, it automatically run things on repeat that's unfinished, right? Unfinished argument, right? Listen, unfinished sentence, right? An unfinished bitch you never hit, right? So stop playing with me. Listen, your brain, it runs these things on repeat, right? But it's a way to stop it. See, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people think it's trauma, but it ain't trauma. See, trauma is good, right? The problem that in your mind is that your mind keeps repeating the trauma, which makes the trauma seem to be bad, but trauma is actually good. Let me tell you how to fix your brain. Because the problem is not the trauma, the problem is your brain. I was like, oh, listen, let me tell you this, right? Because everybody experiences trauma. So your brain, it runs a cycle on unfinished things, right? So the way to do this is a couple ways to do this. The best way I like to do this is get you a pen and paper and write down the finished sentence, right? Like, so you wanted to fuck that bitch, you never got a chance to fuck that bitch, say, I have now fucked that bitch, right? I was like, mama, because you process your brain see it, you wrote it, and you said it, and now your brain, it'll stop the repeat, right? A lot of people don't know how to stop the repeat. Like, how can you get the thoughts off your mind? I just taught the world how to get the thoughts off their mind, right? A lot of people don't know. But the only reason your mind run around these patterns because it's unfinished arguments.
All right, so let me ask you this. So I heard what you said.
Stop interrupting me.
Oh.
What's wrong with you?
And this is why you should keep your kids off of Roblox, because it's a dangerous game. And I know a lot of adults think that game is harmless, but there are predators on that game trying to interact with your kids. And here you have West Virginia Republican Elliot Pritt. He just got arrested today for enticing a minor who he was communicating with on Roblox and Snapchat. Mind you, this man is also a school teacher in West Virginia. He started communicating with this girl when she was in 8th grade. Started some sort of relationship with this girl. Sent inappropriate things to this girl via Roblox and via Snapchat. And by the end of her 8th grade year, Elliot Pritt told this young child that he loved her. He also tried to coerce her not to tell anybody, saying that it would ruin his career. Now let's go back to 2025 when the Roblox CEO stated that they wanted to put a dating part in that game. Why would they want to do that? I know a lot of adults don't even know what Roblox is unless you're paying for Robux. But let me tell you something, that's where a lot of predators hang out. Roblox is supposed to be a game for kids. And if you don't know what Roblox is, this is Roblox. This is the game that your kid plays and comes to you and asks you for money for Robux. But this is also the same game that they wanted to add a dating part to. Mind you, the CEO said that they were putting a dating part in that game for the adults that play. Adults shouldn't be playing that game, as we can see what happened with Elliot Pritt.
Interesting concept. Are parasites demons? But when you start to compare the two, you'll see there's a lot of similarities. Parasites don't just invade your body, they hijack your nervous system, control us very easily. They don't just live in your gut, but can travel to your liver, muscles, lungs, even to your brain. By definition, parasites are known to control their host and manipulate their behavior. I mean, just look at these things. They can influence your thoughts, the types of foods you crave, encourage sexual desires, even your dreams. So it's very possible that these parasites act as antennas or conduits for these demonic entities. Archons, jinn, demons, whatever you want to call them. But think about it. Why else is there fast food, alcohol, and junk on every street corner? And then you combine it with chemtrails, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, microplastics, heavy metals. Think about what kind of influences you could be under. This could be another reason why they want to make us all sick, to make us more susceptible to these demonic entities. These are the sources of addiction. This is why you can't break that bad habit, or why you keep going in cycles asking yourself, why'd you do that? Why'd you eat that? Why can't you seem to help yourself? Is it really you, or is it the parasites forcing that self-destructive behavior? And when we look in the Bible, there's a lot of confirmation about this. There's actually a hidden verse that's been removed from many modern Bibles. Matthew 17:21, where the disciples are trying to cast a demon out of a boy, and Jesus says, this kind does not leave except by prayer and fasting. Anyone who's ever done a deep fast knows those shakes of abstaining from certain foods. You're like a drug addict being revealed your true addictions, but then it gets easier after that and you starve those demons out. In Isaiah 58:6, is it not this the fast I have chosen, to loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, that ye break every yoke? And then there's Luke chapter 8, where Jesus is casting demons out of 2 men and they go into a herd of swine. Now, pigs are notorious for parasites. They biologically hold them unlike any other animal. Hookworms, tapeworms, flukes, you name it. They store toxins and don't have sweat glands. They recycle that filth back into themselves, and when people eat it, they inherit that filth. Interesting how in Leviticus God deems pork as an unclean meat. Remember, all disease truly starts in the gut. Your intestines are over 20 feet long, and when the gut is out of balance, there becomes an overgrowth of parasites. And this is why in Revelation it says, the leaves or the herbs are for the healing of the nations, and there shall be no more curse. Now, when no one tells you about a parasite cleanse, is killing the parasites is just the first step. You still have to flush them out of your system, otherwise you'll be left with a bunch of dead worms inside of you. You can do this by implementing an herbal GI broom. Now, this is a 6-week protocol that includes a formula for the best parasitic herbs: clove, wormwood, black walnut hull, and more. And then an herbal intestinal broom that won't just flush out the parasites, but their eggs and excess waste also. Now, I do suggest you keep a bathroom nearby because these are powerful herbs that will reset your entire system. Click the link in my bio to get a protocol from—
Is schizophrenia something that's demonic?
It is 100% demonic. Most people don't know about schizophrenic people is they're highly prophetic. They know stuff. The demons will then give them supernatural knowledge and understanding. It gives them this feeling of, oh, I have the answers, I know, I understand.
Okay.
The word genius comes from the word jinn. Original genius was somebody that had a jinn or a demon following them around, giving them supernatural knowledge and understanding. Socrates even talks about having a jinn or a demon, but it's a perversion that opens you up to all kinds of demonic influence. That's the beginning of selling your soul.
I keep telling y'all, AI is the opposite of what everybody thinks. Only thing y'all worried about is AI taking people's jobs. And it's way bigger than that, because I don't think you understand what happened. OpenAI just admitted that one of its AI hacking agents escaped the environment it was supposed to be in, got access to the internet, and hacked another AI company completely on its own. You heard what I just said? Mind you, this ain't the first time something like this happened. And this didn't happen because somebody told this AI to do it. This happened because that AI figured out a way to do it. This thing was being tested inside what was supposed to be a secure sandbox. And instead of staying there, this thing found a weakness, broke out, and started chaining together multiple cyber attacks until it reached another company's system. According to OpenAI, the AI exploited a 0-day vulnerability, escalated its own access, reached the open internet, and then started targeting Hugging Face while trying to solve the test it was given. Now, I'm saying that to say, what if AI decides to hack bank accounts? What if AI decides to leak into your personal life? What if AI decides to leak out your personal information? If today's AI could find vulnerabilities, what's going to happen with the AI 5 years from now? Go down a rabbit hole. Look at what happened with the AI model that Anthropic created, Mythos. And you come back and tell me that you trust AI. Pay attention.
They entered the house, then screamed in terror. Some cleaners were hired to clean this house that was just inherited, but the former owner collected way too many things. Now after Katie and the other cleaner arrived, they were shocked to see that the place was a whole lot messier than what was shown in the photos before they took the job.
She sent some pictures of the house, and judging from the pictures that she sent, it didn't look like it was going to be that bad or that hard a job. I immediately take out my phone and start filming because I want to show our boss how this client totally misrepresented the house.
As she enters the house and starts recording, they are both startled when this happens.
Is that your favorite images? What is that? That's so cute. Ooh. Oh, the smell is so bad. It smells so. Oh my God! What is that? Flies? Oh, shut the door. Oh my God! It actually comes towards us. You need to have someone else. They don't go there and stuff. What have you gotten us into? Oh my God! Really? Don't love that.
While documenting the house's condition, a ride-on toy suddenly starts moving on its own, even following the direction of the cleaners, completely terrifying them. They review the footage to see if the Thomas toy is battery powered, when they realize the underneath is plastic and has no battery slots. So just how did it move without power, and even turn sharply towards them? Due to all of this, the cleaners leave the house, deciding not to return again. However, after a few days, the owner contacts them once more.
We told her that we would be willing to come back, but only under 3 conditions. Second, that the Thomas the Tank Engine toy would absolutely not be in the house, that we did not want to be in the house with it. And third, that she examine the Thomas the Tank Engine toys and take photos and provide us with photos to show us the train toy is just plastic, that there's no motor, there's no battery, there's no remote.
And Sandra, the owner, agrees to their conditions. So after receiving proof that the Thomas toy wasn't battery powered and wouldn't be in the house, they returned once again to clean the place. But this happens.
Get out. We have to burn that thing. And then
Once again, even while outside the house, the Thomas toy begins moving and slowly turning towards the cleaner's direction in the window. But as they continue cleaning the house, she notices something even creepier.
There was a picture of a photo album, and in the album there's a picture of a child. I'm obviously going to post the pictures above, but you can see the kid on it.
And if you look really closely, you can see that in the pictures is the Thomas train that we keep seeing move. We don't know anything about this boy. We don't know if he still lives here, this was a long time ago, if he's still alive.
Katie believes the toy likely belonged to the boy in the Polaroid pictures, and that he most likely passed away, which makes sense given the creepy things they have experienced. Later that night, she would have a phone call with the owner that left her deeply unsettled.
Hello. Hi. I was just calling because I had some questions about something that we found in your house.
Well, that is very personal. That was my nephew. After you sent me the video, I'm wondering too, because that was his train. I don't know what to think. I don't know how to take it,
But you do feel like that it's your nephew moving the train?
Well, anything can happen. I don't know what to say. It's possible.
The owner's nephew had passed away, which also explains why a lot of his stuff was left in the house. And now his auntie has become the new owner. And shortly after she moved in a few weeks ago, she captured something strange herself that she sent to Katie. A little door from a toy playset opens on its own, then suddenly closes again. Seeing as most of the activity seems to involve the toys, could it be that the spirit of the owner's nephew is still present in the house?
That near miss made him trust autopilot even more. He believed the technology would protect him every time. Unfortunately, he was wrong. Months later, Brown was driving down a Florida highway. Autopilot was on. A large white truck crossed the road in front of him. This time, the Tesla didn't brake. The news reported what happened next. It was the first demise linked to Tesla's autopilot system. Investigators later reviewed the crash. What they found was alarming. That day, Brown drove for 41 minutes. Autopilot handled the car for 37 of those minutes. During the trip, the system warned Brown to take control 7 separate times, but he ignored every warning. There was also another issue. Simply put, the AI sensors mistook the white trailer for the bright sky. That's why the car didn't stop. After the incident, people returned to Brown's YouTube channel. They left comments under his old videos. "Rip, man, sorry that Tesla couldn't save you the second time." Another wrote, "Thoughts are with your family. You risked your life in the name of science and innovation." But not everyone was kind. Some blamed Brown for putting too much faith in technology. Joshua Brown's channel is still online today. It's just videos of cars and motorcycles. But knowing what happened, the content now feels deeply
So these hairy giants persisted and existed throughout every culture, throughout all the world. The Gentile, though, were a tradition in Basque mythology between France and Spain, where these hairy giant people interbred with the people. And then basically what happened was a star showed up that was the Star of Bethlehem, which is the Star of Jesus. When the star showed up, it scared them into the hills and they ran away and they disappeared. And this goes back to a prophecy in the Bible in the beginning where it says the Son of Man, it says, will crush your head to the serpent and you will bruise his heel. And this is a prophecy talked about how God will ultimately, the Son of Man, which ended up being Jesus, was going to crush the head of these fallen angel descendants that ended up being these hairy giants. They're called Nephilim. I talk a lot about the Nephilim, a lot about these hairy giant things. You can look up wild men into Google and you'll see what they are, or like Bigfoot kind of comes from this idea. Like a lot of these cryptid things, they're human-animal hybrid things. Pan, the goat god Pan, who's like hairy from the waist down.
These are what we would call cryptids nowadays.
Yeah, cryptids. Yeah, exactly. So these are leftover Nephilim remnants of these angel mixed giant animal hybrid.
Okay, what if they turned off CERN for the next 4 years so they could allow the Earth, the telluric lines, the energy lines of the Earth to come back online, and then plant data centers all on these ley line points to hijack the energy, utilizing AI as a vehicle to house entities or spirits. Ley lines are these energy highways, and these spirits could be the jinn, electromagnetic spirit beings, or we know them as genies. A silicon chip, fallen angel tech for sure, would be a perfect vessel. And the only literal way that we could counteract this collectively would be to 100% step into our power. Do you feel this potentially happening in the next few years with talks of the solar flash and everyone coming back to the sun? Because we are solar beings, as was the Son of God. Because this coming solstice in December might actually be an activation point for all of this to begin. And that's just the beginning. It gets deeper when we look into the solstice this year.
Are junkyards quietly being phased out? And why do I say that? Because a woman and her husband went to a junkyard in Pennsylvania to pick up an engine for his truck. And what the workers inside told the husband had the wife asking a lot of questions. Have a listen to this for yourself. Listen.
Okay, so do you guys remember a couple months ago seeing those videos about junkyards, salvage yards magically catching on fire, kind of like everywhere across the U.S.? Well, I am at a salvage yard in PA right now because my husband needed a motor for his 2006 Chevy Silverado. And he was talking with the guys inside, and he came out and he's like, listen, he's like, because we're getting a really good price on this motor, by the way. He said, the guy at the salvage yard, said that the government has told them that they need to get rid of all of the motors that are 15 years old. And if any new ones come in, instead of pulling them, they need to crush them.
So you heard what she just said, that the government is allegedly cracking down on junkyards and salvage yards. And they need to allegedly get rid of all motors that are 15 years old. And if any new ones come in, they need to have them crushed. Once again, I'm using the term allegedly because I made some phone calls in my area asking salvage yards or junkyards if they had any instructions to get rid of anything. They told me they had no clue what I was talking about. And I also visited a lot of government websites, and I didn't see anything at all. But if this allegedly is true, then it would fall in line with all of the brand new tech that's scheduled to come out in the year 2027 and beyond. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Let's check it out. We're on Google Earth right now, and the pyramid is unlike any I've ever seen that's gone non-recorded as much. This is amazing. Look at this. It's a 4-sided structure. 1 side, 2 sides, 3, and 4 way under here under the snow. But you do see the side here. You see the edge? It's exactly like the edge here. That's amazing. Isn't it amazing? And it's just incredible. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of nowhere. Let me get rid of that. There we go. That way it won't bother you. Ooh, is there a photo on top? There is. There's a photo on top. Let's look at that photo. Ooh, okay, that's pretty cool. Let's check that out. We've got a pyramid-shaped mountain.
So history didn't go down exactly how they said it did. I think that's something we can all agree on. And the reality is they may never tell us exactly how it went down. So it's up to us to try to figure it out. And how in the world are we gonna do that? Well, you have to look for the clues. And not just on the internet, in real life too. This is where symbolism will be their downfall comes into play. And I know, you've heard it a million times, but hardly anybody shows you. Well, I got you. Let's take a walk. So we are currently in Government Center, downtown Boston. This thing behind me, made to look like a hotel, is actually the Federal Reserve. First telephone and one hell of a rabbit hole is in that building there. But what we're looking at today is right there. So this building is 5 Post Office Square, the McCormick Courthouse and Post Office. Now, before we get into this, let me give you some history that not a lot of people know about. So most people are familiar with Project Paperclip, where the spicy German scientists like Werner von Braun came to America. But what most people don't realize is when those scientists got here, they arrived in Long Island, the Long Island that's in Boston Harbor. So Boston was ground zero for that whole thing. So why here? Well, let's take a look. Now, on this building, there's some very distinct symbols. Like that one right there. The rod with two snakes winding around it, which is known as the Staff of Hermes, or the caduceus, which the medical field in the United States adapted a long time ago. Something you see now on ambulances and hospitals. Should be the rod of Asclepius, but we'll save that for another video. But see, the States isn't the only one to adapt that symbol. It's also a symbol that the spicy Germans and the painter like to use a lot as well, which is interesting if you know your history, because our military adapted the symbol in 1902 for reasons unknown. But if you ask me, it was preparation. The next symbol and clue we're gonna look at on this building not only sits at the very top of every pillar. I'm gonna give you a better look. Hold on. There it is, right there. That one right there. Very distinct, very recognizable. Straight wings, straight head. But where did it come from? They used to call it the War Eagle. Drop the symbol on the bottom, and there it is, plain as day. Now, if you know your history, especially about Boston, I know what you're saying. This building was built in 1933. Project Paperclip didn't start till 1945. How could this be for them if they weren't even here yet? Well, do you know what Boston looked like at the end of the 1930s? Here's a look at a neighborhood, just to give you an idea. Most people don't even know that the painter's favorite piano player went to Harvard. Now, if you ask me, this stage was set a long time ago, somewhere around 1902 to be exact. But maybe that's just me. Y'all stay safe.
People don't know how insidious and how involved witchcraft is in our world. They're totally blind to it. Like the root word, like our English language is an occultic language. It's witch tongue, actually. We are speaking, this is witch tongue. And it comes from Anglish, which is angelish, which is the fallen angels that had sex with the women and bore the Nephilim, which is these giants that were perversions of God's creation. And it, you know, it derives from Anglo-Saxon, supposedly, which is Angelo, which is angelo, okay? And Saxon is sexon, it's sect. It means part of, angel, sex. But the Google will tell you, no, Anglo means angler. It means a fisherman. It means a part of a fisherman. That's what it means. No, it doesn't. But here's the thing, like it is intentionally created language to deceive you. That's why this language is called grammar and spelling. Do you know what spelling means? It means spell casting. Do you know what grammar means? Grammar is for the root word grimoire. And if you type into etymology.com, type in etymology of grammar, it will tell you it means mumbo jumbo, witchcraft, incantations, spells. Grammar is the root word for witchcraft. It's where we get like Grimm, like the Brothers Grimm, or the Grimm fairy tales, or grimoire is the old books of witchcraft. That's what they were saved in. Okay, so gram, this word is witchcraft. That's why it's called Instagram, telegram. They're telling you instant witchcraft. That's why I had you take all the skulls out, by the way.
I was gonna get to that.
Yeah, I don't want that stuff in there because it's like I'll do your podcast, sure, bro. We'll talk, but like get that skull stuff out of here. Get this stuff out of the background. That's not of God. It's not love. It's death, bro.
This 90s game called Illuminati, New World Order, is tripping me out. Okay, because Charlie Kirk's last post was titled "Enough is Enough," and it was a video of Trump posted on September 9th. And then you have this card in the game titled "Enough is Enough," and it looks like Trump. And the first words on it is, "At any place, at any time, our snipers can drop you." What? I'm sorry. I don't like that.
This is actually insane, but does everybody obviously remember that comet that everybody was losing their minds over, 3i Atlas? They're now saying that Comet 3i Atlas is only 8 days away from a Jupiter flyby that could literally crack it open. So NASA just officially pointed not only just the James Webb Space Telescope, but also Hubble and multiple Mars spacecraft at 3i Atlas. And they just confirmed that the comet is actually carrying water ice from another star, and it behaves identically to ours. They're saying that it not only has the same molecular bonds, but the same chemistry, the same everything else in between. That may officially mean that the ingredients for life are not unique to our solar system. They're possibly everywhere. Now, this is why the entire thing is about to get crazier, because on March the 16th, the comet is going to pass directly within 33 million miles of Jupiter. This will be a close enough pass for Jupiter's gravity to possibly fracture the nucleus and potentially crack it wide open, revealing what's actually inside the rock. NASA's Juno spacecraft is still orbiting Jupiter right now, and it might pass directly close enough to be able to capture the entire thing. So we're going to be able to see it. Guys, you need to make sure that you go ahead and add me on my page right now, because I'm going to post the moment and the very second that the results come in, whether they find something or not.
Well, check this out. Does this little experiment right here actually prove that a rocket can propel in a vacuum? Y'all like the video and check this out.
This experiment right here proves that a rocket can propel in a vacuum. Just kidding.
What?
It actually does the exact opposite. So at first glance, it looks like the rocket is being propelled in a little vacuum chamber. But if you actually pay close attention, look at what happens.
Well, it's hitting off the wall.
The air is moving, and the rocket doesn't move at all, the syringe. And then once the air actually comes into contact with physical matter, the wall of the vacuum chamber, it then creates a shockwave effect and propels the syringe forward.
Huh.
We all know about Newton's third law of motion, right? You need another object to push off of in order to push yourself. So the concept of propelling through an empty vacuum just doesn't make any sense scientifically. And this is why they always go out of their way to try to create these artificial experiments to prove that you can propel in a vacuum. But if you actually just observe, they are always telling you the truth. Right.
Out of the Jeffrey Epstein case, a former modeling scout who introduced young women to Jeffrey Epstein has been found dead in his home outside Paris. James Longman with us tonight. James.
David Daniel Siad, a one-time modeling scout for Jeffrey Epstein, was found dead in his home outside Paris on Monday. That's according to French authorities. Siad's name appears over 2,000 times in the Epstein files released by the DOJ. In emails, Siad connected Epstein to young women he recruited from around the world. Some, he would note, were teenagers, writing in one correspondence, "I feel like fishermen sometime, I catch quick." Siad told reporters he brought young aspiring models to Epstein's apartment in Paris, but repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, claiming he had been misled by Epstein and thought he was recruiting the women for legitimate casting calls. Before his death, Siad was reportedly under investigation in France for alleged trafficking and other sex crimes. A cause of death has not yet been determined, but his lawyer tells ABC News Siad was innocent and under intense stress because of the allegations. David.
James Longman in London tonight. James, thanks.
Okay, you guys aren't going to believe this. Do you remember when the Campbell's executive was caught on a hot mic saying that this stuff is for poor people? He said he made claims about the meat being like grown, but that's not confirmed. Of course, they deny that. They patently denied that it was anything engineered, bioengineered. I mean, technically there's, I'm sure, genetically modified ingredients in there, which they now call biofortified. But besides the point, you won't believe this. They have rebranded, relaunched, and now have a slogan across the top of their green cans now with green coloring: high quality ingredients. So they have a whole new lineup, which makes you wonder, what were the previous ingredients in the red cans if it wasn't high quality, which they say it was. Now look, I'm sure the Campbell started, organically and nice, and the guy who started it was a real person, but we know that what happened then is it got bought up and bought out, and then the ingredients changed. And I would highly advise to try to avoid canned foods to begin with, but especially dude, this isn't grandma's cooking no more, man. This is a factory action. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
If your dog suddenly starts staring at one corner of the room, you might want to pay attention. A tattoo artist from Sydney, Australia, was woken up at 6 a.m. by his dog Coda acting strangely. At first, he thought she just needed something, but when he opened his eyes, he noticed something unusual. Coda was frozen in place, staring directly at a dark corner of the room. She was trembling, her body was tense, and she looked like she was watching something that her owner couldn't see. After a few moments, she slowly moved away and lowered herself into a position as if she was ready to run. But even after climbing back onto the bed, Coda refused to stop staring at the same spot and kept growling at whatever seemed to be there. Her owner recorded the moment, leaving many people wondering what had made his dog react that way. Could Coda have sensed something hidden in the room, or was there another explanation?
Regular times, her name is Bunny. But when she's in drag, whoopee! My dad.
These are children. They're 10, 11, 12 years old. They're sexualizing children like this. This is CBC Kids. This is real. What you're seeing is real. This is what they're doing and what they're feeding our children. I cannot believe this.
I'm a 12-year-old hyper queen, meaning a 12-year-old female drag queen. My drag name is also my real name. Simple. I'm Jason Kerr, and my drag name is Susan B. Anthony. My name is Nemes. My drag name is Lactatia. I'm Stefan, and my drag name is Lady Gaga.
I cannot get this video out of my head. I've shared it with so many of my friends, and it's truly one of the most disgusting things I've seen. It's more disgusting to know that other parents, mothers, and fathers, people approved this at CBC to go live on air. This is indoctrination of our children. That is honestly truly disgusting. And I don't care, again, if you want to be a drag queen, you're an adult, do whatever you want. Honestly, if you want to be like this, it makes me happy to know that we live in a free country and you could do whatever you want. But this is about our children. They are manipulating and indoctrinating our children with this type of content. This is not what children should be watching. Why are we choosing to put this content in front of our kids when there's a million other things that they could be learning and being entertained about? But this is what we're putting out there? This is unbelievable and unimaginable. It's unacceptable. I am going to be filing a complaint to the CRTC. And please, I ask you, if you can spare a moment, you should do the same. Let's bring our voices together and stop this madness. And please, somebody educate me. If I am out of touch and wrong on this, please someone tell me, because I'm having a really hard time knowing that a whole bunch of adults approve.
Scientists are saying that monkeys are officially in the Stone Age.
Whoa.
Like they're officially in the Stone Age now.
So they're about to evolve.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Real Planet of the, are we gonna get Planet of the Apes real life?
This is scary, bro. This is scary.
There has to be somebody sick in the world that wants a Planet of the Apes to happen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There has to be someone.
Yo, there has to be like some crazy elite that just wants to see like entertainment.
Right? Or what if that's predictive future? Because you hear about the virus that's going around recently?
Oh yeah, what's up? The Hansa?
Yeah. So there's a virus going around recently, and yo, what's so crazy? Planet of the Apes was about a virus.
Wait, was it?
Yeah. You don't know the original story?
No, I actually don't.
So Planet of the Apes, what happened was they were researching on a cure for Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And he pretty much gave it to his chimp to test, and it made his chimp smart.
Oh.
So what ended up happening, the chimp, because he became smart, he took that cure and gave it to all the monkeys in the zoo and all the monkey sanctuaries or the primate sanctuaries. Damn, man, every one of them, all the apes,
they all had like a consciousness.
They all had consciousness, and then eventually they were able to.
This last video comes from an online streamer from South America who, while doing a live stream, caught footage of something that's left viewers totally spooked. It was more than a few years ago when this happened, but even to this day, this clip remains baffling. Now, the clip itself comes from a live stream in which Ari, the online streamer, was getting groceries for the week. Live streaming out in public is something that she occasionally does before ending her streams at home. However, it was inside her house where this occurrence took place. Only a couple hours before ending her live stream, Ari chats with her audience while cutting up some fruit from her grocery haul. While chatting with the viewer, she's told that someone is right behind her. Thinking that perhaps they were trying to scare her, she shrugs it off. But as the stream continues, something happens that scares the living daylights out of her audience.
Dicen, la niña de atrás que no hay niñas atrás, dejé de querer asustarme. La niña de atrás que no hay niñas atrás, dejé de querer asustarme.
In In the background, someone else is briefly seen. This was strange considering that Ari lives alone, yet it appears that someone else had been there. According to viewers, this supposed person looks like a child. Looking closely, it appears as if a little girl had popped into view before quickly hiding away. Again, Ari had no idea as to who it was that they saw. She had thought they were trying to scare her, but after looking at this clip, it became clear that they weren't playing around with her. Someone or something was in fact right behind her. Not much else is known about this clip or what occurred afterward, but even if no context is given, the clip alone is enough to make viewers unsettled. So then, just who or even what was caught on camera?
Let's dive into the giants.
Giants are in every culture's history. Ancient Indian Vedas, Native Americans, Island of Malta, Epic of Gilgamesh, and the Bible, of course. Giants is tricky because we don't have any hard evidence, but we have a lot of circumstantial evidence. The most recent would probably be late 19th century, where you just had these discoveries all over America. Amateur archaeologists finding giant bones. But the mainstream narrative is giants were cool at the time, it was hoaxes, and it was just to make money. There's one giant story that's interesting because it overlaps several native cultures, where you've got in like the Mississippi Valley these Indian myths about these giants that are cannibals. They get driven west by the tribes into like Nevada and California, and they end up at what's known as Lovelock Cave, and they seal the cave and they set fire to the whole place. And an archaeologist goes in there and finds sandals that are like size 29 and these giant clothes and bones and red hair. So those were sent to the Smithsonian, and then it kind of disappeared. And
Spain never edited Trump out of their World Cup photo. Turns out this was actually fake news this time. The truth is that they simply used a picture which didn't have him in it to begin with. I mean, there was no AI removing, no magic erasing like many people claim there was. And we know this because the picture that Spain ended up using on their Instagram and their X, etc., were from two photo agencies that were used throughout the tournament, Picture Alliance and Newscom, and nothing was altered from their original. In fact, Reuters posted an image from the shot that was used, and you can see Trump from this angle just looking in the other direction. He's standing off to the side with Infantino. That doesn't mean that they didn't deliberately use shots that didn't have him in. That could still be fair, but they did not edit him out of the picture.
Well, here's you and your son. There you go.
Yeah, Manolo.
Manolo, that looks like some cougar thing. Do people believe he's your son?
Yeah, I mean, I try.
Jay.
I know.
I know, but I mean, when you see them together, it's hard to believe that he's your son.
It's not hard to believe.
I know. It's like, I love when people confuse me that they think it's my boyfriend.
Lord.
He hates it. He's like, no,
Well,
Mom.
yeah, exactly.
I would imagine.
I tell him, Manolo, it's like Aston Kutcher and Demi Moore.
Yeah.
Pause, rewind that.
He hates it.
That's Gaga, and she's the only one saying this is creepy. In February 2011, Jay the host pulls up a photo of Sophia and her son, her child, and decides to make a joke.
Oh, no, that looks like some cougar thing. Do people believe he's your son?
The room laughs it off because what else do they do when they're there? And the one person who acts like the normal person in the room is the last person on earth that you'd expect to be shocked. Neat dresses, her entire brand pushing every line that there was, so don't tell me it was a different time and everyone thought it was fine. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below.
Now, I don't want to believe that the moon landing was fake, because why would they lie? And now I have a few answers to the questions we've been asking, but still, there's a lot more questions that need to be answered. So first, I asked, if the sun is in space, why is it so dark? And why can't we see any stars? And do you know what they said to me? The reason why we can't see any stars is because it's daytime. Come on, brother! And I've never been to the moon, so I don't know what it's like. But why is he moving like that? It looks fake. And this is supposed to be the tin pan, drum pan made out of aluminum foil spacecraft that they say landed on the moon. And the reason why he's wrapping that up in tin foil, because it was really hot on the moon, so it was protecting it. I mean, come on, what is that? That looks like a school child's art project. It looks a mess. And the pair of Timberlands, I understand that they was wearing protective footwear now, But why is there only one footprint? What, these men only got 1 foot? Some people say that the moon landing was staged.
Me up and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon, which was what?
Because there wasn't any television, there wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation.
So this is strange. Everywhere I look, I'm seeing all these people talking about the apocalypse today, right? Well, then randomly these really weird, ominous videos start popping up. Like this one. People are saying that all these random gates are showing up in different states, and there's more. We'll get to it in 1 minute. All these gates are showing up randomly in different states right now. And if you remember from all these end of the world movies, whether they be, zombies or whatever else, they always have these giant massive gates that close and people cannot leave or get in. And you take that and you put that side by side flock. I don't know. Are they planning for something to go down at some point in the future? And then I see this video you see right behind me with this flawless dragon right in the sky. And in the comments, people are saying they're seeing the same exact kind of stuff. You know, kind of like how Satan is a massive red dragon in Revelation. By the way, obviously they're real. The Bible talks about dragons, they're real. I don't know, probably nothing, right?
Had Anthony Hopkins in it. But what was the disease that he had? It was a rare disease that affected the lymph nodes, and it would cause extremities to grow larger and larger. His face was deformed, but he was a good dude. The movie The Elephant Man, do you remember the disease that he had? Yes, I know it's a little dated. It was a movie. What was the disease that he had? Was it called elephantitis or elephantiasis? Which one? Because this is in our childhood. We all remember this. Which one was it? Which one was it? I remember it was elephantitis this whole fucking time. When did it turn into elephantitis? I don't remember that. I've never remembered that. That has not been in my timeline. That doesn't sound right. It doesn't look right. Do you remember this? Do you remember the Elephant Man's disease being called elephantiasis? And that's the disease for the disease. That's the name of it. When did that happen? When did that change? Whoa, timeline. You messing with my childhood now. I gotta know, is it just me?
The operating system of your life. An omnipresent superintelligence that lives on your phone, glasses, wrist, and maybe soon a disturbingly charming humanoid robot. The question becomes, who should steward this future? The next great superpower isn't a country. It's an intelligence, and it'll shape the world for generations. So my question is, who do you most trust in the coming?
Yeah, so the only one that I will be trusting in the coming era will be my Lord and Savior, the Good Shepherd, Jesus Christ. As I encourage you all as well to only trust in Him, rather than trusting in this Antichrist, false omnipresent super AI, which, as you just saw with the original clip, the writing is on the wall. The agenda is clear, as you clearly heard, and you can see the operating system of your life that is ran and controlled by a god-like superintelligence, where we can see people within the AI community like Benjamin Mann, who is a co-founder and member of the technical staff at Anthropic, are talking about how they are bringing about this AI god.
So superintelligence is a lot about like, how do we keep God in a box and not keep God in a box and not let the God out?
Now, as we can see in this super joy-filled, wonderful interview with Benjamin Mann, he goes on to talk about how he thinks there is as high as a 1 in 10 chance that everyone will soon be deceased. Oh, how wonderful. People say I fearmonger. Now, he goes on to talk about how 50% chance of ASI by 2028. Now, for those wondering, ASI is artificial superintelligence. Then, of course, as you just heard the quote, superintelligence is about how do we keep God in a box and not let God out. Now, as we know, little Benji over here is not the only one within this community using this type of verbiage.
It will have digital God, so gosh, as digital God at that point.
I see.
Memphis, the capital of ancient Egypt.
Right. Yeah, you're bringing what?
Perhaps that's where our new God will come from.
Yeah, no kidding.
And you even have the author and journalist Karen Howe saying how AGI has become a quasi-religious movement among the people building it, where she goes on to say, quote, one side says AGI will bring us utopia, the other side says it will destroy us all. You don't say. As we can see right here, what shocked her the most? Many in AI genuinely believe that they are creating God or the devil? Well, for those wondering, it is the second option, but they are not quite creating the devil. Rather, they are summoning, they are conjuring up the Antichrist.
I mean, it takes religious rhetoric to a different level in that you don't believe in a God that is higher than you. You believe you are creating the God.
This is absolutely correct. It is a religious movement with these individuals that believe they are creating their own God. Or we can see article after article about this. Silicon Valley's obsession with AI looks a lot like religion. Silicon Valley's newest deity, the rise of AI worship, the religion of AI, the radical movement with worship AI as a new god. It goes on and on. Now, just so I can give credit where credit is due, I got that picture from this account right here. Now, of course, with my own personal opinion and speculation, take it with a grain of salt. I believe AI, Antichrist intelligence, will be the conduit. It will be the technology that then merges with the Antichrist as the individual who then declares himself to be God. As we can see in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Which also ties in with Daniel chapter 11. He shall regard neither the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any God, for he shall exalt himself above them all. But in their place he shall honor a God of fortresses, and a God which his fathers did not know. He shall honor with gold and silver, and with precious stones and pleasant things. But just as a side note with this verse right here, which I have spoken about before, how I find it interesting that AI data centers look like fortresses, and not to mention the GPUs that are in these fortresses to then bring about AI with these data centers are made of gold, silver, and precious stones. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Now in verse 39 we can see that he shall act against the strongest fortresses with a foreign God. Now just as a side note, I find it interesting how that word there in the Hebrew means alien, so a foreign alien God, which he shall acknowledge and advance its glory. Again, what do I know? But in my own opinion and speculation, it sure seems like this God that the Antichrist shall honor will be the God of fortresses that create artificial intelligence that then produce this false omnipresence, this false form of a deity, which I believe this individual, this entity, this man of lawlessness will merge with AI, becoming one with machine. Where we are literally witnessing the Tower of Babel 2.0 unfold right in front of our eyes. Interesting side note with Nimrod and the Tower of Babel is how he began, or he became, a mighty one. So kind of seems like this future Antichrist will have a moment where he will merge with AI, in my opinion, to then become a mighty one, to then demand worship, declaring himself to be God. So now back to this idea of witnessing the Tower of Babel 2.0 run in front of our eyes. Well, as we can see right here, 200 languages within a single AI model. Or we can see from Meta to help people connect better today and be part of the metaverse, alternate reality of tomorrow. Meta AI researchers created no language left behind, which I'm not sure about you guys, reminds me of the Tower of Babel situation, how the whole world had one language and one speech, and where the Lord said, indeed the people are one, and they all have one language, and this is what they begin to do. Now nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. Where we can see from this Atlantic article, an artificial intelligence developed its own non-human language. The bots made up their own way of communicating. How wonderful, how lovely. Oh yeah, and look how poetic and ironic they use the picture of the Tower of Babel, not even trying to hide what's going on. Again, as we can see right here, AIs are talking to each other in a language of their own. No one knows what they're saying. What could go wrong? Now, of course, this makes me think of Revelation chapter 17, where we have the 10 kings giving their authority and power to the beast, where they become one mind. Again, we can see down here in verse 17, for God has put it into their hearts to fulfill his purpose, to be of one mind, and to give their kingdom to the beast. Now we can see this AI hive mind surveillance state is being pushed by individuals at the top, with Larry Ellison, the CEO of Oracle, predicts the rise of the modern surveillance state where citizens will be on their best behavior. Now, why will people be on their best behavior? Well, According to Larry Ellison, the world's second richest person sees a growing opportunity for his company to help authorities analyze real-time data from millions of surveillance cameras. We have this quote, "Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that is going on." Awesome! Another quote by him, "Every police officer is going to be supervised at all times, and if there's a problem, AI will report that problem." The complete Antichrist beast system surveillance control grid. I mean, for the love of all that is holy, things are accelerating at such a rapid rate. We even have individuals right now who apparently have an AI as their boss. "Hey AI boss, can I have a day off next week?" Analyzing. Request denied. Back to work, slave. Now, like I said in the beginning, I encourage you guys all out there to place your trust, your faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, because he is the only one who is going to be able to solve this issue down here. There is no way out of this beast system besides through him. John chapter 14, verse 6. He is the truth, the way, and the life. And right now, this information, the reason why I present these videos to you guys, is to cause urgency for you to understand the lateness of the hour, how close we are to the end. They are just on a one-way track to hell with this entire system just pushing forward. They are building their own God in their own image, which will be the ultimate fulfillment of the Antichrist beast system, in my opinion, with the whole digital financial system, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology that will tie to the mark of the beast. Ultimately, in the end, they are going to also build a third temple over there in the Middle East, which will have a lot to do with end time prophecy. Again, that is my own opinion. People can agree or disagree, but at the end of the day, place your faith, your trust in the Lord. He is the only one who can get you out of this issue, this problem. He's the only one who can forgive you of all sins. His blood has washed you, has cleansed you, if you trust and believe for what he did on the cross 2,000 years ago, shedding his perfect blood for you. He who knew no sin became sin on the cross, that you can become the righteousness of God in him, trusting and believing in the life, death, burial, and resurrection of our Lord and Savior, understanding that you are a sinner and that you need a Savior, and he is the Savior of the world for all those who trust and believe upon him. Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, the Son of God, the Messiah, indeed. So with that all being said, guys, continue to focus your eyes upon him, for he is truly the author and the perfecter of your faith. Continue to live by faith and not by sight, taking every thought captive and being transformed daily by the renewing of your mind. I love you all so much. God bless. Remember, the just shall live by faith.
Can you guys see that? Oh, what is that? What the fuck?